Hello, and welcome to another PGR stream. It is your boy ZB here again today. I've been all over the place and very inconsistent with my streams. I do know I need to be streaming more often, but well, I can hear myself echoing. Anyway, welcome one and all to another story chapter stream. I am currently 2 chapters behind, but hopefully, I'll be able to finish it either by the end of this year or next month, by the time the new chapter comes along. Anyway, without further ado, let's continue this story. Oh. Well, actually no, this is the wrong chapter. I meant to go to the previous one. There we go. Cradle Parade. I was hoping to finish this chapter, but I'm only almost halfway. Interesting, where it's only halfway done, and last time it feels like we're reaching the climax. Anyway, sit back, relax, and let's enjoy the story. In endless despair, only one feels reborn. The torrents of fate dragged into the deep sea all those who have drowned, suffocated, they're on the verge of death. In endless despair, only one feels reborn. I can do these things now. It has hit her that she's in control of everything. So long as she holds onto the strange-looking red giant egg in her arms, neither the entangled sea anemones nor the arrogant seafarers can hope to stop the weapon in her hands. This egg, what exactly is it? Zinfla can make it attack out of its own accord. It can make me an ascended more powerful with it. Strange how those Hitra creatures can't use it though. She holds the giant oddity for a good look. She finds herself drawn into the longer she keeps in her eyes on it, her mind seemingly swaying like a flickering flame in the wind. Had it not been for the mind connection of that commandant, Lami is sure that she would have been swallowed by the same illusions that had engulfed her before. This time, however, she's able to see past those illusions with a lucid mind. This reminds me of the little match girl. In the story, the warmth and light coming from the match gives the girl the power to fight back. Lamia reaches out, despite herself, her fingertip gliding over its translucent surface. At that moment, the egg, like a struck match, draws her into a dazzling shopping street. She's attempted to reach for the goods. A sudden chill makes her shiver. Lamia walks down the newly frozen street, her consciousness fragmented like a scavenger's clothes. Guided by the mind beacon of that certain human whose whereabouts have become a mystery, Lamia makes her way into the street in the illusion. She looks at the phantoms on either side. Feels like a kaleidoscope, reflecting a colourful world with omnipotent doctors, endless dry food, bright classrooms, and intimate friends. They almost seem like they came straight out of a child's imagination. Naomi looks enviously at these things she once longed for as she lingers by a few phantoms showcases. She wants these wishes that these phantoms showcases are displayed to come to her side. If only all of this were real. Lamia once again raised the egg match. When her fingertips skim over its surface, a faint red glow comes to life that shows the phantoms showcases. Instantly, the illusion becomes real and tangible, like a personal shopping guide. The egg match starts showing Lamia the life she yearns for. It's 11:30 a.m. Mother prepares a hearty breakfast with a gentle call. The forever 16-year-old Lamia wakes up in a bedroom filled with toys, books, and stuffed animals. At noon, after breakfast, she opens her tablet to find 99 messages from friends, each one kind and eager for Lamia's reply. At 1:30 p.m., she finishes replying to all her friends' messages. Lamia takes her father's spaceship to school in Babylonia. No. Don't replay my memories. Be peaceful. At 1:30 p.m., when she's finished replying to her friends' messages, Lamia takes her father's spaceship to school in Babylonia. At 2 p.m., she walks into the classroom surrounded by her classmates and teachers. Her teacher proudly announces her as the top scorer on the test. At 4:30 p.m., when school ends, she hangs out with her friends. They take pictures for memory, and everyone wants a picture of Lamia. At 7 p.m., Father picks her up in his spaceship, and of course, Mother has already prepared dinner and a late-night snack. She wants to be the popular girl, deep down. She wants to be loved and admired. Anyone who has experienced a truly ordinary day life can tell that these scenes are anything but ordinary. If anything, they seem more like scenes coming straight out of the life of a princess in a fairy tale. What price does one need to pay for these wishes to come true? What are the potential risks? Lamia, the little magic girl, has no time to think about these. However, despite herself, she's drawn toward that figure. Following her choice, the egg match locks on the future where Libya survives. Searching for keynotes. Lustrous approves Libya's pregnancy stay change. Lustrous does not approve Libya's pregnancy stay. Libya follows the original plan to return to the continent with a supply ship for vacation, working as an ordinary laboratory nearby. Lamia is born. Learning future preview based on users' known information. Age estimated at 16 years old. Observer request for a world event loading delayed. Lamia stands in the corridor, watching as the egg match shows a peaceful golden age. She finds herself back in the familiar home, in that familiar living room, seeing her mother, whom she knows well yet barely recognizes, busy working at the workbench on something that little Lamia can't understand. Mother? The piercing cold seems to diminish just slightly with her presence. Mother, is there anything to eat for dinner? There's plenty in the fridge. Help yourself. I've still got work to do. Mother is expressionless. It's nothing like the dream life Lamia has envisioned. Yet this teacher is based on reality. Only the minimal nodes changed. Where is the fridge? Mother? Finally looking up this way from work, Mother looks indifferent and makes no effort to cover her annoyance. So stupid that you can't even find the fridge. I can't imagine you'll last a day without me around. I gave up my entire future because of you. How much longer are you going to keep me stalled with all these trivialities of life? These words shatter the observer's heart, sending ripples across Lamia's mind. Time? I'm out of time. Intensely grows poignant, catching Lamia by surprise. Go away. She now speaks in the same cold tone. Leave us alone if you got nothing Our stars, we need to work. Mother, may I ask you a question? You have 1 minute. Fire away. 30 seconds. Mother, is it true? 50 seconds. Is it that she wouldn't have died if I hadn't been around to begin with? Constructed from wishes, the simulation of Lamia's future collapses completely and merges with her past. It was only that fateful day that Lamia asked the question. Would that have been weighing on her heart for that long too long ago? Have you finished the problems I gave you last time? Sorry, but too difficult for me. And the death box? He cast Lamia a cold look slightly before standing up to leave. She despised her own ignorance whenever she was given problems like these. Honey, if I could get out of here earlier, the world out there had the answers I need to answer all those questions. Searching for key notes. Change a few more notes. The egg match burns up once again, illuminating the world behind Lamia, revealing countless flickering figures before her. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Lamia, the youngest scientist the world has ever seen. Brimming with excitement from the stage, the host welcomes a petite figure. Now, let's find out exactly how amazing this kid is. Dr. Lamia. Yes? Help me summarize the tasks from all of today's meetings and chat records and organize the schedule for tomorrow. Sure. Lamia is safely born. Leaves Atlantis ahead of time. Dr. Lamia, can you help me solve a math problem? Sure. Sent to an orphanage. Pass by enjoying ice cream walks by the television as Lamia's exciting life unfolds in it. New version? Let's get one. I heard they made this with the mind data of real people. It's got to go with Project Simpler, apparently. Really? I didn't know that. Did you hear that? If you don't want to go to school, just wait for some magic to fill your head with knowledge. You end up in a jar, turned into a service AI with a bunch of other people. And now comes the blind draw for Dr. Lamia. We've got a classic human grey, playful monkey peak, and even a mermaid edition the world has yet to see. The audience applause can be heard from the television as a terrified child starts crying out loud amidst the cheers. The camera isn't showing Lamia's face, but the child's cry already speaks volumes for her. Order now at all major specialty stores. Dad, look at this. On the bustling street side, a girl passing by the window laughs as she pats the head of the product. Me. Becoming a candidate for mind data human experimentation. This looks like a monkey. Experimentation and commercialization successful. As her mind grows unstable, Lamia's wishes are once again poured into a cup filled with memories. Lamia finds herself by Atlantis corridors, watching as countless researchers pass by calling like mindless drones. She tries calling their names, hoping to get some emotional support, but doesn't come any response. Which leaves Lamia stranded as she watches the humans and machines pass her by in an orderly fashion. When they pass her by, they move around her, reminiscent of cells avoiding a blood clot still in the process of forming on a blood vessel, or tourists passing by an animal's cage. She lowers her head, holding the empty coffee cup in her hands, caressing the engravings on it. To my future self, I want to be like everyone. I need to make it happen. It's her yet-to-be-realized wish in the form of a bunch of crooked letters paired with meaningless layouts. Want to bet on your luck? Want to bet that you'd be sent to a legal orphanage instead of being dragged into some inhumane experiments? Luck, huh? As long as she has luck on her side, nothing bad is going to happen to her after she gets out of this place. She'll finally be able to go to school she's read about in books. That's when she can enjoy bathing in the sunlight and listen to the calls of cicadas and the laughter of people. Where the teachers would start with basics and guide them with patience. It's okay if Mother isn't perfect, as long as I get to live a happy life of a normal person going to school. The egg match grows red in her arms. She pats it devoutly and closes her eyes. All of a sudden, through the afternoon sunlight and the calls of cicadas, a piece of chalk comes flying at Lamia, who sits in the second last row and lands squarely on her. Lamia, daydreaming again. That glass burst into laughter. No, was it? In answer to the question I just went over. She frantically picks up her textbook and flips to the right page, but even with gentle reminders from the desk next to her, she still can't answer the question. You're just not cut out for this. Your mother signed you up for this intensive program thinking her daughter was oh so knowledgeable. I'm starting to think she's intentionally putting either me or you through this suffering. In her silence, the entire class bursts out laughing again. Cozy sunlight, calls of cicadas, and laughter of friends. Everything is as she had hoped for, yet falls short of her expectations. This is a rare opportunity. I need to make it count. She picks up her textbook and studies, practices, then dozes off again. It's not until the school bell rings, everyone's getting ready to leave the classroom, that Lamia finally stands up from her seat and quietly sighs in relief. It would be perfect if I could skip all the classes and just go straight to when school finishes. She lowers her head. She said she wants to experience school, but when she does experience school, it's like, nah, I want to go. Peace. She lowers her head, the egg match in her hand, revealing its intended purpose. And try to dumb down school a little, if that's possible. A normal school would do. Polishing the egg match, Lamia changes 31,206 keynotes in one go. Lamia figures that she would be okay going back to a time when her mother was around if there is nothing she can do to change her mother's mind about sending her to a advanced school. Humans of the Golden Age didn't yet master technology to control time, but Lamia is sure that she can count on people in the future. The egg match will take care of that just fine. And she decides that she's not going to bother with the number of changed time nodes she's seeing on the Phantom, so she doesn't see what impact they might have. She knows her wish has been fulfilled when the dreadfully tedious classroom disappears, leaving her in half an hour tranquility. Lamia finally found her long-awaited peace and happiness, as well as the life of an ordinary person that fits her definition of ordinary. As the 4 seasons fast forward, Lamia goes through college and enters the workforce. She's now a tour guide working at the Copperfield Aquarium. She finds work more tedious than school, and she curses her life even when she only needs to show 3 visitors around a day. Yeah, when someone with anxiety has to be a tour guide. Oh boy. She knows it, however, that fateful day comes. Alarms that once flooded Atlantis are now blasting through the aquarium, letting everyone know that the punishing is here. The visitors start running for dear life in every which way. Standing in the escaping crowd, Lamia tries to fast forward time, only to realize the wheel becomes ravaged at a faster pace as she does so. She doesn't want to be a construct again, and dies in the hands of a cleaning robot while fleeing. That sucks. Finally, the punishing never happened. Lamia desires inflate, but when she once again rises the omnipotent egg, the punishing virus, the phantoms offer no answers. It, the tower, couldn't raise its own existence nor the punishing. What do I do now? Going through her memory, trying to find someone she hopes she can talk to, she suddenly recalls Roland. I wonder what Roland would do with this opportunity. With a snap of her fingers, Roland materializes before her. You're lending me this egg? Match that can fulfill any wish? doesn't exactly fulfill any wish though, which is why I wanted to see what you do. Well, he takes the egg and without a moment's hesitation chooses to fulfill a childhood wish. Just as Roland has hoped, his life progresses without any hiccups. Life devoid of lies, falsehoods and drama, mundane and ordinary to the core. He stays by his mother and brother, repeating daily chores, schoolwork and childish games, living a life with an end visible at a glance. Don't you find it boring? Deeply engrossed, Roland says nothing. But what would you do when the punishing hits? Dies. She was hoping Roland would show her what to do, but the day the alarm echoed through the square, Roland simply makes the same decision as she does, more candidly than ever. He bids a farewell to his loved ones, then waits for death to come knock on his door. I think that's pretty much it. Roland shrugs. They abandoned me in the real world. You might be looking at a different script here, but lies are lies all the same. It was a great dream. I really enjoyed it. Can I lend you the egg and ask you to give it another try? You want me to relieve the lies? He bursts into laughing when he sets up an accident. In a few simple moves, Roland turns his half-year-old self over in the cradle so he faces down. It all ends even before it even starts. It's over. In the empty corridor, Lamy finds herself all alone once again. I just realized the background is a face. You've got the nose, the mouth, and the eyes. Oh, he knows that now. She wants to catch up to those people and see for herself. To Star and Skylar giving up their lives during to pursue her. In Plato's allegory of the cave, he compares the uneducated to a group of prisoners chained in a cave from birth. In the allegory, the prisoners face the lightless wall in the cave, chained so they can't turn their heads. People outside the cave pass these prisoners by carrying torches whose light shines upon the weapons, passerby and mannequins. Prisoners, on the other hand, see nothing but the shadows of these things projected onto the wall, because they've always been facing the wall. See no real objects, they naturally come to believe that the shadows are the only reality. If they were suddenly freed from their shackles, stepped out of the cave and forced into look directly at the fire and accept that all they used to see were mere illusions, they would surely feel pain in the process, and confusion too. Just like a mermaid princess venturing above the sea surface for the first time, gazing at a kingdom she's never seen from behind the reefs. Just like a little girl lighting a match for the first time, getting glimpses of her desires in its light. Just like Cinderella asking her fairy godmother for the first time to let her go to the ball. Now Lamia too finds herself questioning herself between opportunity and reality. What do I want exactly? Until this day, if someone asked her what she desires, she would have answered without hesitation. But she wishes hold no value if they can all come true like a breeze. She finds herself being lost in all these vibrant futures laid out before her. Then takes another step forward, a bit more greedy. Then take another step forward. Be a bit more greedy and make all your wishes. The egg controller lies quietly in Lami's arms, softly tempting her. He hopes Lami will be dominated by her desires and be insatiable with the status quo. Then he wants her to want the omnipotent egg so bad that she refuses to help that commandant who wants the egg dead. So the commandant can slowly weaken with the injection and return to mother's loving arms. Light another match. One winged girl too whispers softly in the midst of the bizarre illusions. If this makes you happy, I want mother. I want her to fulfill her wishes and be happy. Searching for keynotes. I want to ask her if she was all really because of me. No, Please don't blame it all on me. A baffling image flashes past her sight. Is that a crack of some sort? Lamia decides to ignore it. Knowledge. I want to answer all questions as my true self. 150 time nodes need to be changed. The crack seems to have grown a bit. Friends. And to be like everyone else, not a monkey in a suit to be stared at. 392 time nodes need to be changed. These are all still ordinary lives that people in peaceful times have had. They're not grand enough to be wished. I want to be a pop star. Lummy, the superstar's latest single, Visceral Melody. The cover, wow, it's breathtaking. Lamia, Lamia, Lamia. The observer in the corner sees the dangers seeded by these researchers. I want to be a knowledgeable teacher so the best of students will humbly seek my advice. The observer knows that these are the consequences of tampering with time, that she will tear the world apart if she doesn't stop. I want to be the almighty philanthropist. Everyone in need of the conservation areas thanks to your selfless kindness. Please do allow us to make a game based on your beautiful body. It's going to last for centuries to come alongside your name. I want to be more powerful than Alpha. This is the power bestowed upon me by the Monastery of Purity, Gabriel. The decayed skull reflects the mermaid's bleak figure. Master, you've arrived. Awakened by the rift, the punishing pervades the land faster than ever. No, there's more to that than that. Merely tolerating to blow in her creative slaughterhouse, the pure in this world will drown in a crimson flood. The tragedy of the Puller Forest Park is about to be repeated manifold. Is this the future she hopes for? Or is it destruction led by ignorance? The mermaid lost in wishes remains oblivious to the danger. I will rise above the Ascension network and make all the agents bow before me. This planet too is ready to hatch. Her wishes are innocent and her daydreams commonplace. The observer knows the world can't bear the consequences of having these nodes altered. And the moment who makes these wishes is walking down the safe corridor of the fourth dimension as she admires the countless futures eliminated by the egg. In these future simulations, Lami has lived through countless lifetimes, having all her wishes fulfilled to the point of desirelessness. Without desire. What wishes do I have left? She keeps her eyes on the dimming light of the egg match and the fading mind beacon as she ponders how to make her remaining chances count. In the mirror at the end of the corridor, she saw the shadow of Atlantis. Mirror. This brings Lummy back to those times when she sat on the other side of the screen looking at the dead and seeing an ideal world from reality. She wants to reach out to those who are no longer there, like fishing for a reflection of stars in the ocean. Stars. The daughter of the sea looks at a reflection of stars and makes her final wish. I wish to venture into the starry sea to see the starscape you longed for. I want to understand. Why is it that you chose to move forward even at the cost of your lives? Lamia steps into the starry sky and leaves the solar sister behind in a breeze. She raises her head and looking puzzled. To her delight, she realizes that she has no trouble traversing black holes yet to be explored by mankind. She skims distant stars, feeling for the full outline of the universe beyond human cognition. She becomes nothingness, an eternal cosmic voyager. She sought all philosophical answers, and yet she doesn't know what a significance these questions hold, nor what the answers mean. Jumping at her, these words are no different from a foreign language she's never studied. She sees the answers to science and everything unknown, and yet seeing them all is all she's able to do with the answers. Existing beyond the darkness that shrouds the cave permanently, these unknowns remain a puzzle to her, so much so that she isn't even aware of them. She embarks on the endless journey throughout which she imbibes the stars and seas. After a long period of bewilderment, she finally comes to grips with the meaning of all that she can be seen and their significance. Upon touching the edge of the universe, the darkness that has clouded her mind begins to fade. The mermaid, dancing among the stars, looks back and laughs at the wishes she just made. Singing, earning people's respect in the vast universe, these desires seem so petty to the point of laughable. She sways her tail and swims back to Earth. She plucks the moon in her breeze and toys with it in her hands. Earth is hit with tides that swirl on the land, seeking Atlantis, a place she once held dear, to the bottom of the sea. Few remaining souls vanish beneath the sun and tide, the suffocating cries failing to reach her ears before Mother devours them all. She gazes at the truth, indifferent to the destruction. She lets herself drift around in the starry sea. The rise and fall of 1,500,000 or 570,000 cosmic civilizations cycle like sunrise and sunset under her watch, falling incessantly. Under the unyielding laws of cosmic wars, the key in her hand, just like the moon, is nothing but a substitute for a toy. Time flying ever faster raises the countless years and ages to Nami as silent as the stars themselves. When the starry sea before our eyes collapses to zero, the light of the mind beacon reality will too extinguish. Time's up. She gazes lovingly at the universe as it reboots in the simulation, refusing to return from this immensity to her reality she knows to be dull and draining. Reality. Nami in the real world is still the same villain who needs to fight with all her might just to survive, making most of her wishes nothing but a far-fetched fantasy. But now Nami is very clear about the egg's intended purpose. State your goal and reveal the path to your goal with the actions and things you need to take, after which you'll be shown what it's like if everything goes as you wish. But all these actions are in the past. Could it be that that Vonnegut has figured out a way to travel back in time? Nami suddenly recalls that Luna has mentioned in passing that Vonnegut was looking for a key. Key? In the egg is the key. What door can it open? As Lamia murmurs to herself, the phantoms around her immediately show her the answer with the light that remains from the mind beacon. When that weird tower turns red again. But how is she supposed to go to the tower in the clean zone? How is she supposed to make the tower red again? But it could be a second tower, right? How is she supposed to travel back in time using the tower? How is she supposed to change the time zones she's seen in her simulations one by one? And where exactly is Vonnegut trying to go by doing this? While Lime still doesn't know the answers to these questions, she now sees how important the egg is. This is what Luna and Vonnegut want. I'm sure this is a solution to all the issues that came with refiltering. Filtering finally hits Lamia. Just like the minds of agents have been corrupted long ago, yet their minds are stable enough for their self to persist. Perhaps to humans, agents and ascendants are already as dead as the corrupted. Losing connection with the Ascension Network means losing oneself, which is why it's so hard to break free. Transcendents, though slightly different, are still subject to the control of agents and ascendants. The punishing inherently stores a vast amount of ownerless mind data. The data congregates, which in turn allows the Ascension Network to upgrade. Guess I can see the resemblance. On the one hand, she has the chronological information of ascendants left in the Ascension Network, the original cells. On the other hand, there are coupled cells, forming all from the ownerless consciousness and information. The essence of refiltering is evolved weight of these clobbered selves, messages, that overrise the agent's authority. This is the parade of the punishing fires, where the messages contained proclaim their autonomy. They aim to break free from the control of Amos, to coalesce into independent entities. If one left unchecked, one day it will become a vast army, merging into an unbeatable, incomprehensible, indescribable monster. One day it will bring destruction to both humans and ascendants. Agents must undergo refiltering and reclaim their authority. It's not just about survival, it's also the sake of a more distant future. So that's why I found a good credit the egg key. The egg being the highly concentrated punishing heterorema likely stores a consciousness that absolutely obeys the ascendants. Not only can it help ascendants pass refiltering, but it can also come up with symbolizations using the messages stored in the punishing. Messages in the punishing, have a fourth dimension to it to begin with. Lummy gaze travels through the starry sea into the past. That giant hedgehog creature from back then was meant for creating a big enough signal tower too. They did get their messages from the future, but humans beat them to it. They probably wouldn't even have brought up Project Simpler had Vonnegut gotten what he wanted then. I get it now. The messages are not unlike the fire of the torch that shines through the dark. This Lamy figure is exactly what Vonnegut is after. At the same time, it also hits her that Simpler, whose laid the egg, is connected to doors of all sizes to begin with. Just as the heterohive mother connects heterosapiens and the retired, she has become their central processor like a queen bee. I can use that to control the hetero creatures she gives birth to. If I can get my hands on her. The egg, the key to the tower, Simpler, the queen bee controlling all the hetero creatures. This is what Vonnegut wants out of Project Simpler. This is pretty useful to me, too. While Lamy has come to grips how to use the egg, she still hasn't quite wrapped around her head around what's made Simpler the queen bee that she is. What to know about Simpler? Contrary to her swelling ambition, the mind beacon is growing weaker still. Is the human severing connection, or are they about to lose consciousness? Now of all times? She sighs in recognition, having realized that her mind connection is bound to end. I need to get out of here in the egg and head for that tower. That's where my wishes have a chance to come true. Question is, how does she get out of here? Nobody knows that her mind will go berserk, which in turn will lead her to destruction. She can't establish another mind connection allows her to use the egg. Does that mean she has to beg the human? Is she supposed to deceive and use the person like what all villains do? The Grey Raven Commandant. She feels reluctant, but why? Lamy withdraws her thoughts on wandering the cosmos and starts sketching the contours of humanity anew. The particular human once mistook Lamy for Lillian, yet overlooked Lillian's suspected desertion and instead assured her trust. Did the Commandant do that because there was no other choice, or were there actually people willing to be kind to her? I can't believe this still bothers me so much. Lamy looks back at their newly made wishes and laughs in self-derision, but she knows there's something shared between them. Just as people of Atlantis pursue the distant cosmos and stars, Lamy too chases after them. After all, those who step into the light out of the cave to see the real world, she longs to be as formidable as they were. To stand where they do, to see the landscapes they've seen, to step into the very starry sky they would sacrifice their own lives to touch. I'm stunned, staying in the ignorant cave. As her daydreams come true in the shadows, Lamy finally understands her true desire. Carefully holding up the egg key in her hand, she asks a question of her heart's desire. One rooted in reality, yet she's been too afraid to face directly to all the silent stars. Please tell me, the one who had just discovered who I really am, Will they forgive me? At the bottom of the well, the Commandant has a dream related to Mother. Her appearance is still that of a young girl, making her anything but a mother. It is therefore logical to conclude that she's merely assigned the title Mother. And that's that. It's got to be that. My dear baby, my precious one. She has a delicate string of flowers tied to her hand as she sits in the room imprisoned by the shadows of the window bars. And yet the gentle afternoon sun streaming through the window carries with it peace and serenity. I love you. Mommy loves you. She courts between dreams and reality, her figure torn into pieces alongside her thoughts. The merge of all these concepts, named Mother, take an appearance that's both familiar yet barely recognizable. Welcome back, my child. She settles down. Look at you, getting yourself hurt so much again. Mother picks up the hot soup from the table and kneels before the person covered in scars. But I know that it's not your fault. Just so many troubles and unbeatable monsters out there. It's truly remarkable that you've come this far. Don't forget the work and training and stay home for a while. Mummy really missed you. Don't worry, I'm going to help you figure things out. She carefully blows on the spoonful of soup until it's cold enough to drink, then passes it over. Open mouth. Feeling the taste awakens a sense of security, long drowned by pain and the instinct to survive. You grasp her hand. It still hurts, doesn't it? Buy some painkillers and call the doctor. She sets down the bowl, dialing the hospital's number over and over, only to meet with a busy signal. It's not good. The helpless reality seeps into the dream. Don't worry, I will always be with you. Rest now and leave the rest to me. No way. You're never a trouble. I can tell how happy I am seeing you back home. Don't say that. Mother chokes up for a moment. You saved so many lives. You're the best. All I ever ask of you is to come back home safe and sound. If I could have a wish, I just wish I could be part of your happiness. Don't blame yourself for the scars. Mother, take me with you. Yes, come back to me. Mother embraces the child's wounded body with all her love, her gentle skin numbing you in a way that can't quite word when it comes in contact with your wounds, reminding you of the accounts provided by those who have encountered the Red Tide. Mother. Sanity peels away further with the corruption of the mind beacon. Please keep holding me. A humble plea help mocks your past efforts, rendering everything insignificant and never indispensable. Now behold the fate of this hero, groveling on the ground, and witness what years of pain and perseverance have yielded. Why not cast aside all necessary responsibilities and mandatory efforts, and the mission to save the world, instead beg for Mother's mercy? Dignity is almost too little price to pay for a pity can alleviate even a fraction of this tormenting agony. Why are these my only choices? Why can't I overcome everything? Because your human has fallen to the kingdom of the deep sea. Bringing up the tale of the Little Mermaid, she flips the story around so the human prince falls into the strange kingdom of the sea. Mermaid. Did the mermaid princess ever ask these same questions if he was helpless walking amongst humans? It's okay, close your eyes, my child. Don't think about all those things that make you sad. She bends down to kiss the child's blood-stained cheek. Come back into Mother. I'll keep you safe. Ooh. Ooh, what a sentence. I really missed you. Oh, how I missed you so. I've always prayed for heroes and God to protect you, to save you from peril. to bring you back safely. The corruption of your mind beacon and nightmares linger, dragging you to a still deeper whirlpool. Putting out the mind beacon you've been holding onto with all your might. There is no time to figure out who she truly is and how Dream brought up more occasions than one has to do with Project Simpler. Fortunately, the painkillers and the gradually blurring consciousness are working together to offer a bit of relief, save you from the excruciating pain that's keeping you awake. Within the lullaby weaved by them, you severely injured feverish come up the bottom of the well, falling into a deep sleep. Until 24 hours later, claps in the distance finally wakens you from your slumber. Looking up toward the whale's mouth, you found the upper layers no longer unobstructed. Having rested significantly, you feel physically replenished. I can leave this place now. Cautious and prepared for yet another shake, and any sort of abnormality, you pick up the dagger and start climbing upward. This time, however, the whale seems as if it were dead, remaining still without any movement. As the sun reclaims the sky, this absurd paradise becomes shrouded in a new layer of chaos. In the distance is a building that has collapsed into a gaping maw of countless floating debris, bringing to our mind a scan that's formed over a giant's wound. Where to go next? When you look around, you see the jellyfish-like phantoms once again. Wave at them. Phantoms show no response. Go check them out. Like a school of startled fish, the phantoms swim away. Is that how they're supposed to be? At this moment, a woman's prolonged wail can be heard coming from the depths of the paradise. The sound immediately triggers an earthquake, causing the entire space to shake violently. It shakes like from nothing like what I've experienced in the well. Walls nearby crumble with the vibration, out of which deformed hedgehog creatures emerge. Oh dear. You immediately run for it in the opposite direction, but the creatures show no intention of attacking you. Survey your surroundings. Just as you thought, you see them everywhere as you run. These twisted beings lack the intentions for a full-fledged plan. There must be a monster ascendant lurking around that are far more dangerous than these creatures. Lithos. Hearing the word, a shadow on the ceiling sheds its disguise and lands slightly behind the human. Fight back. Bullet hits it squarely on the head, but passes right through it as though it was a puddle of water, causing it no harm at all. Stay calm and focus. Split second later, hedgehog creatures lurking in the ruins all swarm this way. Hedgehog creatures hold you by the arm that previously been pierced, while your skin festers the moment it comes in contact with them. Struggle of all might. Already beyond exhaustion, you're unable to fight back, barely feeling anything but pain coming from your limbs as they quickly dissolve. You chew it. The world around you turns pitch black of them. With an overcoat thrown over your head, from nowhere you find yourself passed tightly against the door. Struggling only brings you tearing pain. It's impossible to see what happens in the dark. Is my hand been torn? Before you can tell for sure, you hear the sound of something landing on the ground as the hedgehog creature lets go of you. Ow. Even with your legs all but completely numb, you manage to move a few steps to your knees and stand up against the wall. Suddenly now you see what's been discarded right beside you. Syringe? After the final shot, you see only 48 hours left. After the final shot, you only have 48 left. If you make it back to Purple, they might not have the tech to save you. It's the last injection. Mission complete. Tentacle creatures of human bodies declare their victory, following the prolonged wail coming from on the earthquakes and collapses. That didn't go smoothly. Only Mother has calmed down. Cradle is still collapsing. The trolling joystick is dead. Its stick rotates stiffly like a robot observing its surroundings, then it turns its face toward you, battered and bloody beyond recognition. Stay calm. They're not gonna kill me right away as long as they still obey Lithos. There's nothing I can do about that last injection. Need to get some information at least. My beautiful lady, would you... Nature creature with an odd appearance takes a step back and shot. Got proposed to by a monkey. Monkey, I didn't see one. So what? Love transcends race and gender. But we do not love you. Don't need marriage. These children that mother doesn't love, they won't despise you. Says the hedge creature, calling itself the seafarer as it points at its smaller kin around itself. No, that's not right. Mother loves all children. By some children, Lithos cannot love themselves. They refuse to accept mother's love and end up like that. So are these little creatures are all Lithos? Yes, 2 humans, creature creatures, and true sapiens are all the dead merged with the punishing. They too are the replicated consciousness of Lithos after he died. And so are you? No. Our consciousness can fully merge. We don't become fragmented. Like the host, we have Mother to thank for harmonizing resonance. As long as Mother is there, we will be born repeatedly. The consciousness of the humans dead is preserved, and the information of the retired and will continue in us. We replace people of the old times. Soon everyone will be reborn through death. You too will soon join us. Extends his hand at you. Come follow me to a safe room. You just had last dose injected. You need food and rest. You'll be reborn in 47.7 hours. Sorry, but I'm quite happy with the way I am now. You know that you aren't the toughest of people, but this doesn't mean you aren't going to go to fight back. Oh, I only have 2 bullets. Should be more commandant scenes. Oh dear, I think I'll use the whole carriage. Damn, this little guys used to be useful. Commandant action in progress. Let's go. Aim Labs is free. Oh, that's awkward. No one? Ah, we didn't actually get to play a first-person shooter, sad. Drowned prayers come across a piece of driftwood amongst the torrents, only to find grass in its own struggle. For facing this no one, you ask the other no one a question. Would I have left with Lithos had I never been stopped? Well, quite likely, because he always tried to stop me from recalling all the good memories. People have no choice but to choose a different path. They can't remember all the good things that had happened. No one made to believe that nothing they do ever matters. That's how they become ascendants. But there's one way Lithos would have let me become one, if I believed that becoming a ascendant was my only choice. You can't stop being in control of things, so you probably would have turned me into a transcendent at most. No one. The familiar figure turns around to face This way in a narrow tunnel. This voice. You can't see me? You remember the name Nolan, but not this incident? Do you mean? Wearing a shocking resemblance to Nolan, this young man tilts his head in confusion. No, just hear me out. No, you might not remember me, but... No. My memories are quite complete now, and I understand what's bothering you. There's another real me in Babylon here, right? Ray Raven Commandant? You remember all that? Then why are you still helping Nifos? I only started remembering all these after becoming a transcendent, and after that incident. And so when I remember you, Watanabe, Lee, Commandant Simon, Captain Palmer, and Lillian, I remember the right path I chose for myself. I was about to talk about you instead. How do you used to remember the name no one? Nifos took me here and... Wait, that's a weird question. What's wrong with that? Am I not supposed to remember it? You've been in a state of memory loss, or ever. There are a bunch of your clones here with no memories, so you're the real deal. Of course I'm the real deal. I remember everything. But you don't remember having met me. What? Is it possible that your memories have been tampered with? Which is something Nifos does a lot. It's either that or my personal logs can prove my identity too. There's no need to prove anything to me. There's only an issue once you're out of here. Those clones should have this jacket and once it's silent, do they? I couldn't see the other U's clearly. I've touched one of them once, and your clones are in a lab outwards. Why are there clones of me? Yeah, I don't know. There are things Lithos would never tell me. He left me out of Project Simple after I lost his eye. Lithos can be gullible at times, but it's gonna take a whole lot of convincing to make him trust me on every single thing. I don't have any useful information with me. All I know that he wants you to stay here and join Simpler's big family, so you eventually become one of our legs. That's what he said to me too. Have you seen my clones anywhere else? No, but I've heard these clones were transported from a secret lab near Fort Winter. And are you the fairy commandant that Raven is leaving to no stone unturned trying to find, or are you one of the 5 they don't care about at all? Or maybe you're the true one, but Grey Raven has located one of the 5 and halted the pursuit of you. Fort Winter. There's no point in thinking about any of that. They need to get out of here first. What's wrong with your eyes? Why bother asking when you don't even remember me? The person you remember isn't even me anyway. Try me again with a different question. What exactly were those Tetra creatures you defeated? It was an autonomous community of interest of humanoids. Huh? Red Tide holds the information of the deceased. That much I know. Simpler has gathered compatible large shreds of information and fused them into humanoid hedge creatures using her tree of life. She then assigns a role to each of these shards and maintained complementary and coordinated unity, like a community of interest comprising humanoids, or a humongous community, if you will. Therefore said he obtained the technology of fusing consciousness from mankind. So these consciousness come from those who fled here. There's no way people can live here. Do you think they can survive the world out there? The comfort of mother and the rooms of rebirth hold an irresistible charm for those who are desperate. Forever, no mere fairy tale. All you need to do is stay in this paradise for a few days, get a few injections. And when you wake up, you have bidden farewell to your constantly deteriorating body and be reborn as an immortal magical sea girl in Simpler's womb. Your body won't be yours alone, but your consciousness will transcend humanity and understand everything. You'll be able to get rid of anyone who rubs you the wrong way. What's so bad about that? All this is to say that you don't need to show them pity, nor should you try and make peace with them. if they were driven to suicide out of desperation? The old man calmly states the necessity of killing. Is there no way out of this? There is supposed to be still some humanity left in them. That's exactly why I'm asking you to be careful. Back in the Golden Age, there was a notebook that people believed you'd die if you had your name written in it, and there were a bunch of people who wrote the names of game producers in there. We're living through a time where our conflicts and differences are more intensified than ever, not to mention they have been driven to desperation. People who have never experienced the terror of power, but found themselves going from powerless to having everything overnight, should have become demon lords feared the world over. You've known all along, haven't you? There's no negotiating with that kind of creature, but you had your hopes up anyway, seeing as you're able to communicate with them in a language. Yeah. Have you taken the last injection? Can't see you clearly, but I can smell the blood on you. Do you want to stay here and be born as a magical sea girl? Like hell I do. Do you know how to get out of here? It's tricky. You can head to the control room to call for help because it's the only place with signals. I can point you in the general direction. That doesn't mean you have the clearance to establish connection. And if you do, you might end up with an ascendant on the other side of the line. Tommy has to discuss her ourselves. She might not cooperate. And it's highly likely Lithos is going to find out about this. So we have to kill him to start with? Correct. What if we just get a hold of... What if we just can't get hold of anyone? Young men fall silent upon hearing this question. And there's nothing else we can do. Actually, you can just go back in simpler. Do you just say what I think you just said? We are right inside Simpler's womb. He points around with no emotion on his face. Space itself is a huge hedgehog creature, closely connected to Simpler like the hedgehog sapiens of Buller Forest Park. It interferes with Simpler. People who die here will become part of the floor and get absorbed by Simpler's womb. She will then give birth to them again. Are you saying this is Simpler's cradle? It feels like to refer to it as that. They've come up with names like Giant Whale and Deep Star, but it is what it is, no matter what they call it. This giant womb is fixed at the bottom of the deep sea while carrying us. I've been waiting for a chance to unlock it so it can float to the surface. It's the only way for people to discover and eliminate it before it turns into a disaster. How do we make that happen? We might stand a chance if the storage room holding all the copies of Mind is still there, except we have to deal with Lithos then. We have to find the joist that controls the room, then we have to find someone who can withstand the water pressure to dive into the deep sea to unlock the room. What's the joist are you talking about? That's another consciousness that controls Simpler. Do you know Voodoo and Lucky? She was like a mad woman, which is why we need another consciousness to keep her sanity in check. I've met some who have had their consciousness. I've read about them. There's a total of 3 consciousnesses keeping Simpler in a room under control. Simpler herself and 2 other stable minds. Take one of them out of the question, we end up with a continuous collapse like the one that's happening now. We all die in the deep sea. Is it possible for this cradle to die? Maybe, but as long as Simpler's alive, they can rebuild the cradle. What does one need to do to become Simpler's second consciousness? You need to meet 2 conditions. Your mind has to be stable. You have to be accepted by Simpler herself. You will get expelled prematurely and become one of her children if she doesn't like you or rejects you. All you need to do is die in her womb. If you meet these conditions, the roots of the tree of life are buried everywhere here. We need to accept consciousness with the red tide. And I coexist with her, and if she doesn't dislike me? No, no one can coexist with her for an extended period of time. She will shape her consciousness into one of her children before it's crushed. You might become one of those anomalies that crawl all over the place, or a magical sea girl, or merge into the egg. Which means, the way to do it is to sacrifice someone who's stable enough consciousness to turn that person into Simpler's second consciousness, in this case, There's no avoiding the sacrifice. Only 3 people meet this condition, no one, Lamia, and yourself. So in case the communication fails, you are forced to use this method. It is most likely to be sacrificed. Shrek. Running into him here feels like a bad joke. You don't know how he went blind, which part of his memory is missing, but you don't know if he can justify sacrificing him a second time under these circumstances. I got the same short heart. No, that's exactly why we have to avoid this. What's that? Nothing, let me think. That's right. Your best bet would be head down to the control room and call for help. If that fails, then the two of you are good as dead. You press for a time. The scale of destruction that this space carrying countless hatchet creatures going to wreck the Earth is beyond anyone's imagination. Simply the space is a breeding grounds for demon lords. Seeing as the task force cannot operate in the deep sea, you figure that you can have to take Synflow and break free from the seabed. Task force can only eliminate both Synflow and the space when they are both on the surface of the sea. Sacrifice is in order. However, in order for that to happen, we should try and focus on establishing commission first before exploring other options. Right, there's still hope. You can get no one to join you to look for his ways to establish communication and see if there's a way to work around the situation. No one? He tilts his head this way. Tell him about Lamia. I'm going to head to the control room first. Getting out of here is our best bet. I'm going to get help from the task force. And if I figure a way to bring Syphilis to the sea first. What are you going to do if you don't get a hold of anyone in the control room? Well, cross that bridge when we come to it. We'll drag Lithos and Lamia here to help if need be. The young man shows a faint smile at your overly idealistic plan. Let's give your plan a shot. It's better than doing nothing. With it, he points in the general direction and turns to leave. Wait, where are you going? I've got a few things to deal with. Huh? Hits you just now that you were probably being a little bit too optimistic thinking he'd lend you a hand. This person is no longer known, so it only makes sense for him to refuse to help. Can you tell me what your plan is? To throw a wrench in Lithos' grand plans. Seems like we're up to the same thing then. How about we join forces? Standing in a place with this, hand clutched the only weapon he has left, the young man weighs his options. Fine, let's do this. The place is about to collapse. I was going to take one last look at Simpler, but I guess there's no time for that. No one closes his eyes as he explains half the reason for this situation. Take one last look at Simpler? Like you said, Simpler has to go. I've been hearing her cry. She never wanted to give birth to all these dead people. This is what happens when people's wishes go awry. Let out a soft sigh. Everyone longs to be saved by a mother, but who is there to save the mother herself? Come with me, sure we can work this out. Say someone who's covered in wounds from head to toe. I can still take on 10 more of them, but given how far we've come, we have to have got no choice to have her rest in peace, right? But Simpler cannot choose her in death. A hedgehog creature's body can heal as many times as it needs to in the punishing. We've got to count on organizations like Babylon if we want a solution. Well, let's go. No one makes a pleased gesture but shows no intention of coming closer. I'm a transcendent now. Got it. Downstream. Two of you navigating through the countless close passages toward the control room. Along the way, hedgehog creatures come pouring out of the collapsed walls like animals trying to flee a forest fire, every last one highly aggressive. To them, one of you is a traitor who deserves nothing but death, while the other is a sacrifice to be captured. One single mishap is all it takes for the two of you to become their prey. It doesn't help that you were severely ruined in slowing down the two of you. T minus 39.5 hours. After an 8-hour trek, you and Nolan finally find the entrance to the control room, a door floating in mid-air. 8 hours? How big is this place? Around the door lurks a bunch of hedge creatures to no one's surprise. If you can get rid of them on your own, there's someone else in the distance. Who else? True, certainly someone's there with an egg. Could be Lamia. Let's take a detour to catch them. Avoiding the crowd of monsters below, you head toward the way no one has pointed out for you, and sure enough, see Lamia. She's holding an egg in one hand and wields a weapon in the other, cutting down the hedge creatures like wheat. Every time she swings her weapon, she pauses or goes mad for a moment, acting as though she is possessed or having her consciousness devoured. Report if you seem to know and seek further information. Where exactly is that egg? It's in the link. Wait, the one winged transcendent that follows around Vornagum? Yes. Her mind isn't stable enough for her to become a complete egg. She only managed to become something that seems like one because Simpler is her mother. Is she dead? Can't tell for sure. She'd probably end up becoming even more powerful magical girl if she managed to hatch from the egg. Did you say hatch? Yes, but she's not gonna hatch in her current state. Wait, remember you saying Niflers wouldn't become one of Simpler's eggs? Does Simpler want to make another egg? That's a cakewalk for Simpler. No one has said the egg was only big enough to hold one single consciousness, so we better get out of here as soon as we can if we don't want to become one with her. Why don't she go for the likes of becoming a hedge creature though? Because she heard about Kogawa Chrono's death one afternoon. She crossed off visit Chrono from a wish and listened in tears. He failed again. Meister, he isn't coming back to see Mother again, even at the cost of picking the wrong path. Let me reborn my mother. She pleaded to the agent. I want to know if Mother remembers me, and all I can become your key for works. This is my final wish. Bit hasty, don't you think? Yes, these are things she's never explicitly said, but she's no an enemy you need to crush all the same. What do you know about Kogawa Chrono? It's a long story. He'll wave his hand, dismissing further questions. Anyhow, both Lithos and his agency, the egg is important. They think it's an amplifier of some sort. Have you seen its effects already? With an unstable mind becomes an egg, it amplifies its power and transfers the amplified power to its user, which messes up the user's mind. In other words, it's difficult for her to use the egg by herself. Establishing a mind connection with an ascendant is a serious burden, and there's no guarantee that one can cut it off unnaturally. This is a bargaining chip. Keeping this in mind, you shout Lami's name, which stops her in mid-air along with her weapon. Your mind is already a mess. Hearing this, the member clutches egg in her arms even more tightly, fearing it might be snatched away the next second. But even in these moments of her hesitation, nature creatures still keep their distance from her, fearing the egg she's holding. You two. Tell her now that you ran into no one that you plan to do in the control room. I know there's a control room here. We should work together for now, Lamia. Oh, what you are trying to do is exactly what we're trying to do too. Are you sure you want to work with an ascendant? No, not with an ascendant, but with you, Lamia. But I am ascendant. Depends on the person. I wouldn't work with Gabriel, for example. All you need to go is out of this place, and you need a mind connection too. So let's try voices, I say. The memory stands in hesitation. Hedge creatures with her eyeing the egg in her hands. She's still too afraid to take their chances. Before letting me meet those two again, she thought about how to break the ice. She thought about how best to explain herself so they understand that she never intended to work with Lithos, nor did she wish to fight them. but she has sure that nothing she had to say would lessen one bit of their hostility toward the ascendants. Well, she didn't think about putting on the disguise of an innocent bystander construct. Doing so would mean that she wouldn't be able to conceal the crimson giant egg she healed. Never did it hit her, though, that they would ask her to join forces without first asking her to justify herself. The legendary Grey Raven Commandant has no choice but to ask for help, huh? She nods, albeit in doubt. Great. Now pass me the egg before it messes up your mind even further. Lamy takes another step back, clutching on the egg tightly. I can't give you this. Lamy does like this particular human with whom she's been working this whole time. She's happy to keep the relationship the way it is. She's even glad to stay in touch with the human, the same way Lily and they do with them, as long as they're willing to stop being the hero they are for just a few moments. This is mine. I'm not giving it to anyone. She knows very well how important the egg is. Her frame won't hold for much longer if she doesn't bring the egg back to Luna. She might even lose her status as a Sanded, which turned into a mere corrupted. Moreover, the egg is all she has to make her wishes come true. I can work with you, but I'm not giving you this. Okay. Seeing you trying to make peace as you take a few steps back, Lamy loosens up a little more. Loosens a little more the hedgehog creatures. So let's start by establishing a mind connection, Lamia. That's going to corrupt your mind beacon. That much I'm aware of. Her silence voices her doubts. The force is still alive. We need to get ourselves sufficiently ready before heading into this territory that he holds dear. We need to figure out a way to call for help in the control room. This is our only chance to get out of this place safely. This is our only chance. And we have to defeat the force. It's the least we can do. Lamy gazes the human for her, whose decaying appearance reminds her of an overripe apple. Would a person fall like an apple if they have their plate too full? Well, sure. Step by step, she approaches the human with the egg, weapon, and swarm of hedgehog creatures. Water everywhere. Is this also one of Lifos defense measures? It seems she's has regained control of this place. Little fella. Not sure what that did. When you get through, keep moving forward. Activate the force drainage system. Alright, you can come over now. Wow. Amazing mission. Well then, I'm gonna end stream for that today, and no, I wasn't able to finish the chapter, which sucks. According to this, I'm not even halfway. Well, it's still gonna take me a while to finish the chapter. I wonder how big is Aeon Forged? Right, that's 62. That's 51. No wonder it's going for so long. Jeez. It's gonna take me a while to reach the news chapter, and the news chapter is extremely long too. Well, anyway, that's gonna be me for today, and I'll see you all next time, and see what she has to say. She's criticizing my beach furniture. Good luck, and I'll see you all in the future.